Well, back again. Now with this video I'm going to explain the entire Civ game, Civ 5. Now, for those of you who are new at strategy games completely, I would not recommend Civilization to be your first. After all, my first was Warcraft 2. Anyways, Civ 5 is a little more complicated because it doesn't follow a certain structure. For example, Age of Empires 2 or any other of them have a set historically accurate based system. Like, for example, Carthage was always they had one set wonder or two, and it depended upon the civilization how many wonders they had. Two, they, most games try to have some sort of historical accuracy for the basis of a civ or a nation of any sort, a historically based video game, anyways. The thing that makes Civ different is that while you play as a certain civilization, you can build any wonder from any civilization ever in history. You can pretty much Civ every game is a rewrite of history. So say you're America, and to gain a certain bonus, you build the Great Wall of China. You can do any of that. You can build any of the famous world wonders. You can build the Statue of Liberty in Mongolia. There's many maps. Some of them are basic, like East versus West, or based off of a continent like Europe, or based off of the old continent Pangea. The reason why I say, mainly why I say beginners shouldn't start with Civ, because Civ has a set system where you're able to freely control your civilization and how it works. There's also a set way of gaining territory, a way of strategies. Their bonuses are a bit different. They have these new additions. In previous Civ games, your Civ, depending on your cultural uh, expansion or your rapid expansion, the expansion of your empire was really more sporadic than controlled. In Civ 5, you have more of a control over how you gain territory. You use gold to buy tiles, of which, when you have tiles in your territory, you can make various improvements. And a lot of the civilizations often revolve around many different types of victories. You've got maybe 6 or 7 victories. Time limit, science, conquest, cultural, diplomatic. Okay, maybe 5, I don't know. Anyways, there's also things that in normal, historically based military games is that civilization has many more different features, like barbarians. I don't know if you've ever played in the Age of Empire games, but while you have empires to build from the different civs, they don't feature anything like barbarians or enemy or other civ personalities. It's a much more complicated game and to interface them. Pretty much Civ is more complicated in interface than any other historically based strategy game. Now, if you're crazy enough to choose your first game to be Civ for whatever reason, like you've heard that people enjoy Civilization the most, or for some other crazy reason you choose to do it this game first as your first strategy game. Civilization works in a number of ways. You found your first city, you pretty much do expansions, you expand upon a variety of different factors. You buy tiles, you can focus on things like production, where you can speed up your buildings at the cost of maybe food for population growth, or and after you buy a certain amount of tiles, then the borders will naturally grow. Another thing about certain cities that make them different from others is not all of them require multiple cities. Some couple of things that makes Civ unique is that its citizens actually tell you if they're happy with their situation or not, and happiness can actually interfere or inhibit your production. So the idea is to keep the citizens happy. If you have to adjust the tiles to food production if your people are starving. It gives you a more realistic sense when it comes to basic ruling over a civilization. As always, all civilizations have their unique bonuses, just like any other strategy game. Now, there's a very specific guide that I just read upon. Now, I'm going to list you all the civilizations, and the ones that I play, and the ones that I think are the best. Let me pull my guide here. Let's see, let's start from A to S, I guess, is what the list goes down to. America, pretty much they're expansionists. They focus on gaining land, and the more land they gain, the better. Arabia, focusing mainly on trade routes and all that stuff. Mostly, mostly economy based. Austria, now this is one of the new civs in Gods and Kings that the regular Civilization 5 didn't have. Austria, in my opinion, is one of the most badass new civs into it, because unlike before in any of the other civ games, you could not buy a city-state. You'd have to buy conquest, or somehow a cultural means take over physically over the city-states. The thing about Austria is if they have a high enough relationship with the city-state, and you become their ally, you can pay 500 gold to buy a city. I don't know if you've ever played the basic board game Monopoly, but the concept is the same. Aztecs, basically military culture. Babylon. Well, Babylon, science-based. Byzantium, a new one. It adds another bonus to your religion, and Civ, not really that important. I never played Byzantium in particular. so I don't know the exact bonuses. Religion isn't really that big of a deal. Carthage is pretty sweet. Carthage, you can, unlike other civs, you can actually pass through mountain tiles. Now, if you end up stuck on a mountain tile, it's going to be bad for your units, but it comes in handy. Plus, your coastal cities automatically have a harbor in them, which is not even a it's not even a early aged unit or building for your cities. It's roughly medieval era for the building itself. I'll be after this video. I'll be putting a list of the source I have for all the Civ info. Celts, religion, military, etc. Just recommendation wise. China, major sites. Present Denmark, military, basic. Egypt, really, in my opinion, one of the most useless Civs. England, Navy. I'm not going to go into the big details. Ethiopia is a pain in the ass to fight. Never played it as a apparently the defense. France is what I call a burst civ or whatever. They gain a huge burst of speed ahead, but then they kind of fall behind after a certain age. I think it's the industrial age, depending on how you get steam power. Germany, military, enough said. I don't even need to go into details of that. Greece, diplomatic victory, possible early military victory. Huns is my favorite of all time. You start out battering rams. Your basic buildings are just ridiculous. This video is gonna end here soon, so I'll start. I'll put part 2 here next. I'm gonna start with the Incas.